What are the things you need to know if you're sailing Virgin Voyages this year?
Well, we're going to give you 26 tips that you need to know in 2026 if you plan on sailing with Virgin Voyages.
All right, we have a list to go through, so we're going to dive right into it. And here is tip number one. Make sure you pay attention to the class of fare that you're booking. Virgin Voyages made some changes in 2025, so now they have a base, essential, and premium fares.
Now, why it's so important to pay attention to the fare class that you book, that opens up a whole other book of things for you and opportunities as far as how soon you can book your dining reservations, how soon you could book excursions, onboard experiences. That's why it's super important to make sure you understand what class you're booking.
Now, speaking of that, let's go to tip number two, because it's using the app. You need to download that app so you can book your dining and certain experiences on your voyage.
Now, at times the app can be frustrating. Sometimes it's a little curmudgeonous, but it's all right. It'll work through. But again, it's essential to do almost everything on board.
And tip three is included in all of that. And that is make your reservations for dinner as soon as they open up. So again, tied to tip two, pay attention to that fare and when your dining reservations are going to open up, and download that app, because that's where you're going to make those reservations. Very similar to Open Table. You're going to look at the restaurants, the days you're sailing, and pick a time that's available and that works for you.
Exactly. Set those alarms, set those reminders, do whatever you need to do. Get Alexa on your team.
Yeah.
But don't not miss the window of opportunity to make your bookings.
And speaking of dining, tip number four, if you didn't know, is that their dining and restaurants are all inclusive.
Yeah, there is no extras. There is no upcharges. The only thing there are treat yourself menus, totally under no obligation. They are kind of great. We've tried it a few times. Everyone has always been a hit and worth it. But again, no hidden costs. All right, now going into tip number five, look at the schedule of events. Now, like Ryan said, check the app. Make sure you have the app downloaded. If you're old school, sometimes I like to actually look at things. They actually do have a printed version that they'll put in your cabin every day. And there's always one available at Sailor Services, as well as inside of all the elevators is a list of events for the day.
Now, speaking of that list of events, tip number six is pack PJs, because usually on the first night, at least of all the 6 voyages we've been on, there's a PJ party that night, and you can pick whatever kind of PJs you want.
Misconception is your PJs have to be red? Not at all. Make it fun. Wear a onesie if you want. Come as you are. We even had people with the old nightgowns and candlesticks walking around on this voyage.
We've seen it all.
All right, tip number 7, and this is a big one now. If you all like to get involved on the parties, Scarlet is the biggest night here. That party is phenomenal. Pack red. Y'all pack some kind of red in your luggage to make sure you wear that night.
Yeah, we were so surprised actually how many people just weren't aware that they needed something red for Scarlet Night. I mean, Virgin Voyages is red across the ship. We love to wear splashes of red all through our voyage, but if you only pack one red thing, make sure it's for Scarlet Night.
All right, tip number 8. No drink packages. Now, this one's kind of wild because a lot of the cruise lines charge you for everything. Water, soda, juice, alcohol. All you need to do is get a bar tab if you're going to be drinking alcohol on board. Everything else is included. Your juice, water, apple juice, iced tea, lemonade. No extra charge for any of that. And they have water dispensers all throughout the ship.
And they give you water in your room too, which is really, really nice.
Yep, absolutely. And they refresh that for you every morning.
All right, tip number 9, which is a huge misconception, is that booking with an agent or a first mate costs you money. It does not. Virgin actually builds those commissions into the full price of your sailing. So if you want to work with a first mate or an agent, that's no extra cost to you.
And here's a little bit of a pro tip. If you book with an agent, that's definitely going to help you with tip number 1, ensuring what class that you're booking. They'll help walk you through the process and make sure you understand exactly what you're getting yourself into when you're booking your sailing. If y'all are looking to book with somebody, book with CL.com. JC and his team will do a fantastic job for you. They'll take great care of you. And even if you've booked, they can reprice and try to get you an even better deal with some extras. And make sure you let them know that these two guys, Ryan and John, sent you.
This is our 6th sailing, and we've booked all with them. We love them. Thank you, JC and CL.
All right, tip number 10 now. Here's another big one, that they don't gouge you on the small things. Wi-Fi. Basic Wi-Fi is included. So you'll be able to do all your basic needs. Now you can do premium and you can do work from sea. Those are all extra. But if you just need to do the basics on your phone, I mean, come on, y'all. We're on vacation. You don't need to be on your phone that much. You got basic Wi-Fi's included. All right, tip number 11. Like I said previously, all your beverages are included as far as juice, water, tea, all that fun stuff. Soda. I got smart in the last couple of voyages and started bringing my tumbler from home, so I don't have to constantly be drinking out of these little mini cups. So do yourself a favor, bring yourself a nice insulated cup to carry around the ship with you. Take it when you're going off the ship. for an excursion, just so you have that initial beverage with you.
All right, here's tip number 12. And we have a whole video on this one. So check it out on our page, this right here. It's the ultimate way to kick off your first night on Virgin Voyages. And that is doing Gun Bay and the Grog Walk on the first night. So make sure you make that Korean barbecue restaurant reservation at Gun Bay. It's one of the only restaurant experiences where you get to sit with other people on the ship. You get to make friends and meet people the first night. And same thing with Grog Walk. You get to meet people. It's 2 hours of exploring the ship in the different bars with craft cocktails. And it's such a great kickoff to your cruise.
Tip number 13. Now, this is an important one, so listen up. At Sail Away, they do free bubbles. Now, it's going to be on deck 15, and it's going to be around the pool bar. Look for all the champagne glasses set up with bubbles flowing. Grab you a couple glasses, or maybe 4, and get ready for a Sail Away party. That's one that some people actually missed quite a bit that I was surprised of.
Yeah, so between 4:30 and 4:45 on your first day, listen for that announcement for the Hostess and the Happenings cast that we are sailing away. Lift up the glass of tiny bubbles and make sure you sip and sail the perfect sail away. All right, tip number 14 is back to some food options. And this is about their dinner shows. Every ship has a dinner show that usually costs extra, but that's because cocktails are included. So as you know, all the food is included. Now, these are special menus you can't get anywhere on the ship, only during these dinner shows. But so far experiences for us, they've been about $50 per show, and it is totally worth it.
Now, number 15, this is a fun one now. It's called the Treat Yourself. Now, I kind of touched on it a little bit, a couple tips back. This is at all of the restaurants, they have a Treat Yourself menu now. You'll see here, we've done the Seafood Tower. We did the Hot Pot last night. Every restaurant has its own Treat Yourself menu. And like I said, there's no obligation to spend anything extra, but they're reasonably priced. And for what you get, I mean, that Hot Pot last night was enough to feed a table of 6 of us, and there was still some left over. So again, if you want to treat yourself, do a little something extra. Like the Wake has a steak that they do.
The tomahawk.
The tomahawk they do there. Yeah. So like I said, each venue has its own Treat Yourself, and it can be a little fun experience.
Tip number 16 is for those people who love the spa. Now, Virgin Voyage ships have an awesome thermal suite spa setup with a steam room and a sauna, salt room, plunge pools. It's just so relaxing. They have a mud room. But here's the tip. It's cheaper on port days. So if there's a port that you're just not interested in, or maybe you've been to on another cruise before and you're just not going to get off the ship, the thermal suite is usually about $20 to $25 cheaper on port days. And that's for 3 hours of access.
We did it. We absolutely loved it. I felt that we got the value for the dollar that we spent on it. I've seen in some other videos, some people say that it's could be a little bit more, but I feel for what you got, it was definitely worth it. Now, number 17 has to do with the Johnny Come Latelys. Now, when the shows start, they start to line up about usually 15 to 30 minutes prior. Now, again, it always makes me laugh. We like to get places on time. It's just who we are. Yeah. But, we'll get in there and you'll have like 1 minute before showtime and you'll see, like I said, the Johnny Come Latelys that are just getting aggravated. There's nowhere to sit. Listen, do yourself a favor. These shows sell out. These cast members put on a great performance. Show some respect and try to get there just at least 5-10 minutes before the show starts.
All right, tip number 18 is for our foodies out there, and maybe for those who don't necessarily need the specialty sit-down restaurants, but it has to do with specialty food items of the day. So Pizza Place has a specialty pizza of the day. Burger Bar and the Galley, specialty burger of the day. Diner and Dash, a different dinner every day. So just know that there are so many different food options on this ship, and some of them rotate daily.
And make sure you really investigate that galley. So just really make sure you give yourself enough time to wander through there. Because the first time we were on our first sailing, I actually missed a couple of the places.
Yeah.
And speaking of places that we missed on our first sailing, that takes us into tip number 19, which is the arcade. Now, this is really a fun time. It's right across from Loose Cannon on deck 7.
In the social club.
In the social club. And here's the funny thing, too. The first time we went in there, I'm like looking, where do I put coins in the machine? They expect me to bring quarters. All of the arcade style games, as you can see here, no charge. All you do is hit the start button and play. They had stuff that brought me back to my childhood. I felt young again. We spent a good time in there, and it was actually fun. We did it after Grog Walk. So you get a nice buzz on. You go and you play some games. That's the arcade. Deck 7, social club across from Loose Cannon.
All right. Tip number 20 has to do with Bimini. So if your cruise is a Caribbean cruise that stops at Bimini and Virgin's private beach club, make sure you're getting off at a decent time if you want one of the included day beds. Now, there are cabanas for you to rent, but the tip is get out there between 10:30 at the latest if you want one of those free included day beds, because that changes the entire experience, in my opinion.
Like I said early, don't be Johnny Come Lately at the beach club. Tip 21 has to do with alcohol. Now, y'all are allowed to bring 2 bottles of alcohol with you on board, and it's champagne or wine. So
Mhm.
leave the Johnny Walker at home, the tequila, the moonshine. It's just the bubblies and or wine. Another little bonus tip here is put it in your carry-on because you can't put it on your check bag. It'll get flagged.
All right, tip number 22 has to do with the position of your room on the ship. So, just a tip, floors 5, 8, and 14 are right below or above some of the main floors. So, 5 is right below 6, which was the casino and the club, the manor. There's deck 8, which is right above 7, which is a lot of the main deck and where activities happen all the time. And then there's 14, which is right below the pool and the galley. So, just be mindful. We've heard people say, they can hear everything. Our own experience on 14 is we heard very little to nothing. So it does vary on how sensitive you are as a sleeper and how sensitive you are to those noises. But for us, we didn't experience that. But just note those floors 5, 8, and 14 when you're booking.
Tip 23 is the iPad in the room. Now, the iPad in the room is the control all be all. It controls your lights. It controls the mood lighting. It also controls your television. You can control the room temperature from there. Now, there is a traditional remote in there, and there is a wall thermostat. But again, the iPad makes it super easy. Another little tip here within a tip, make sure you stick it on the charger when you leave the room because they do die down quite quickly. And I've been reduced to using the old click, click, old school remote a time or two.
All right, tip number 24 is that they do give you beach towels for excursions in the Bimini Beach Club, but they are $25 if they don't make it back to the cabin. So make sure you return those towels and bring them back from whenever you take them off the ship. All right, tip number 25 is one that actually we just learned on a recent sailing, and that is the flag on the menu in the galley. So the galley is kind of the food hall setup since there's no buffets here on Virgin, and we thought you just had to walk up to each station and order, but there is a menu on each table and there is a service flag there. So you just raise that little flag for service. It says ahoy. Someone will come over and take your order. There are QR codes on the menu that you can look at what is available from each station in the galley.
And I can't tell you how invaluable that can be, especially if you're a little hungover from one of the parties the night before.
So true.
All right, y'all. Well, this brings us to the end of our 26 tips. And tip number 26, have fun, have an open mind, come into the Virgin experience with no preconceived notions if you've never been on one before. It is chock full of fun, a lot of great people. There's all kinds of people. We're all accepted here. Virgin really has an inclusive atmosphere, and that's why we've really come to fall in love with the brand.
It's such an inclusive experience. Everyone is represented within the happenings cast and the shows and activities across the ship. So no matter what level of comfortability you have, there is something for you to do. That is why we love Virgin Voyages.
All right, so that was tip number 26.
And if you found these tips helpful, please give us a thumbs up, share, or even subscribe. It really helps our channel grow, and we really appreciate it, as this can get out to other people who are getting on Virgin Voyages who hopefully find these tips helpful for them.
All right, y'all. Well, thank you for your support. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being on this journey and letting us let you know, are these experiences really worth it? Until next time, cheers.